Hello friends. I don't know whether you remember as far back as me, there used to be a children's radio programme where they said, "Are you sitting comfortably? Then I'll begin." So I'll begin with Grannie's GodPod 95, Herod the Great's son Archelaus. Herod Archelaus had been born in 22 BC in Judea. He and his brother Antipas were the sons of Herod the Great and Malchus of Samaria. So, like his father, Archelaus was half Idumean and half Samaritan. Archelaus, Antipas, and their half-brother Philip were all educated in Rome, including information from Jerusalem, the biography by Simon Sebag Montefiore. In 4 BC, after a reign of 37 years, Herod the Great died. The 18-year-old Archelaus danced, sang, and made merry, as though an enemy, not his father, had died. The body, carried on a catafalque, which is a wooden frame supporting the coffin, wore the crown and gripped the sceptre, purple draped and bejewelled with gold. Herod's body was taken in a parade led by Archelaus, German and Thracian guards, with 500 servants carrying spices against the stink, for 24 miles to the mountain fortress of Herodium, where Herod was buried. Archelaus was named in his father's will as ruler of the larger part of the Judean kingdom, Judea proper, Idumea, and Samaria. After the funeral, Archelaus returned to secure Jerusalem, ascended a golden throne in the temple, and announced the softening of his father's severity. Unfortunately, many of the Passover pilgrims who were there had expected a world-changing deliverance from Roman tyranny after Herod's death, and they ran amok in the temple, stoning Archelaus' guards. Archelaus obviously had to respond and sent in the cavalry, and 3,000 people were slaughtered in the temple. Leaving his steady brother Philip in charge, Archelaus sailed to Rome to confirm his succession with Emperor Augustus. But his younger brother Antipas raced after him to challenge the succession. Even though Archelaus was the eldest surviving son of Herod the Great after the death of Antipater, and was named ruler of Judea, Idumea, and Samaria in his father's will. As soon as Archelaus had left for Rome, Augustus' local steward Sabinus, the procurator in interim charge while the succession was settled, ransacked Herod's palace in Jerusalem looking for his hidden fortune. This sparked more riots. Varus, the governor of Syria, marched down to restore order, but gangs of Galileans and Idumeans arriving for Pentecost seized the temple and massacred any Romans they found. Outside Jerusalem, 3 ex-slave rebels declared themselves king, burning Herodian palaces in a frenzied rampage. These 3 were pseudo-prophets, proving that Jesus was born at a time of intense religious speculation. Having waited for such a leader throughout Herod's reign, the Jews now had 3 at once. Varus defeated and killed all 3. Pseudo-prophets continually arose, and the Romans kept killing them. Varus crucified 2,000 rebels around Jerusalem. The Romans would leave the bodies of their crucified victims on the crosses for the birds to devour them. In contrast, Jewish custom said the bodies of the crucified were to be buried, but one wonders how they managed with such large numbers of victims, assuming all the rebels were Jews, of course. In Rome, the 60-year-old Augustus confirmed Archelaus as ruler of the larger portion of Herod's kingdom, but made him ethnarch, meaning ruler of the people, rather than king, so emphasising his dependence on Rome. He made Antipas tetrarch of Galilee and Perea, part of Jordan, and their half-brother Philip as tetrarch of the rest. Like his father, Archelaus was considered an alien oppressor by his Jewish subjects. The life of the rich in Herod Archelaus' Roman villas in Jerusalem was disreputable, Grecian, and extremely un-Jewish. He turned out to be vicious, inept, and extravagant, and the repeated complaints to Augustus of brutality towards the Jews and Samaritans caused him to be ordered to Rome again in AD 6. We can see then why Joseph, returning from Egypt with Mary and her child after Herod the Great's death, turned away from Bethlehem when he heard Herod Archelaus was ethnarch. They settled in Nazareth in Galilee, which was separated from Judea by the non-Jewish territory of Samaria. After a trial in which he was unsuccessfully defended by the future Emperor Tiberius, Archelaus was judged incompetent to rule and was deposed and exiled to Vienna in Gaul, where he died in AD 18. His property was transferred to Augustus' treasury. The Romans then installed a Roman procurator named Coponius and reorganised Archelaus' territory as the Roman province of Judea. Jerusalem was ruled from Caesarea on the coast by a series of low-ranking prefects. And we think we live in a tumultuous time. Well, that's all for now, folks. I'll speak to you soon. Bye for now.